especially visiting with these officers and knowing how long they've waited for these improvements. This floor that we're sitting in, or this room that we're sitting in today, standing in, they told me was, what was the word you would use, Jerry? Torn down,
Yeah.
vacant?
7 years ago, we started cleaning it out, getting it ready to be.
Okay, so 7 years ago, they tore everything out, just left it vacant, and it's just been sitting here, waiting to be invested in so that our police department could use that space. And in 2016, voters approved the funds to do that, and then it just takes a little while to get it designed and get it constructed, and finally, 2020, here we are today, celebrating that it's ready finally for our officers to use. So the total amount approved for the police department in Proposition 2, which the voters approved in 2016, was $5,600,000, give or take a little bit. And we've had some construction cost increases over the last few years, but Jerry and his team have been on top of that, so we've accelerated in some ways certain portions of the project to keep them on budget and control the cost. And so in a lot of ways, while we've been waiting for this to be done, you're going to laugh when I'm going to say we're actually 2 years ahead of schedule. So it's a big project, it's an impactful project, and the dollars that the citizens have invested in you guys truly are just a sign of their appreciation for what you go and do day in, day out. Weekends, nights, holidays, and the risks that you take in order to keep our city safe. Some of the work that they've done here includes remodeling additional spaces for officers. This is across the street in the annex building for officers to move equipment from their lockers to the patrol cars in a secure area. We've got new office and operating spaces on this floor, the 7th floor, and we improved gym facilities for officers too, because while y'all are taking care of us, we also want you to be taking care of yourselves. So a lot of work has gone into completing these projects, and our officers have been very patient waiting for them to be done. So thank you for your patience, but I want to call out Jerry Danforth and his team at Facilities for all the work that they've done, acquiring this property across the street, designing, creating the parking lot areas so they're more secure for officers, as well as the projects that have been done here inside the police department building. So it's been years worth of work, and it's fun today to show up and say congratulations, it's all done, but really a giant pat on the back to Jerry and his team for sticking with it and getting the many projects that the Proposition 2 funds have passed for our police department, getting those projects across the finish line. So job well done, Jerry.
Thank you.
Chief Birkenfeld, you want to add on to that?
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Well, as the mayor said, I appreciate the voters of Amarillo having the confidence in the police department to pass a proposition like this, even though it was 4 years ago. This is an example of our long-term vision for making improvements to the city and certainly to the police department. So we very much appreciate that. We appreciate Mr. Danforth of the hard work that your team has done. It's been outstanding. It's exceeded our expectations, both in the parking lot project and in the building project. This project in the building in particular will take a lot of pressure off of offices. You know, as we've grown over the years, we've been in this building over 25 years, and as we've grown, personnel-wise, our space has needed to grow as well. So this is a much-needed improvement. It'll take a lot of strain off of some crowded offices, and in fact, creating some offices for one unit in particular that didn't have an office previous to this, and was just having to go around and find space to work. So now they have space to work, and I think this is a great thing. So very much appreciated. Thank you, Mayor, for helping facilitate this, and Mr. Danforth for your team. And that's pretty much all I have, unless somebody has any questions.
Y'all are quiet. I should have brought a band or something, right?
We'll be glad to show you around. There's not a lot to see other than just office space up here.
Do one-on-ones.
Also, be sure you can see all of the parking lot projects from up here out the window. So the phase 1 project is the far parking lot over there where all the police cars are parked. And where we previously had a fairly cramped, secure space, now we have a much more spacious area, and it's secure, so the police cars are locked up. And also, like the mayor said, the building next to it is where officers have a lot of equipment stored. We also have vehicle storage over there And then we also have a room where we can process vehicles as evidence and get them out of the weather so we can work on those when we need to. And then the other phase is the closer parking lot, and that's where the employee parking is. It's also secured now, and then we have a bigger area for customer parking as well. And then the gym project we already talked about, and I think we already kind of did an opening on that a few months ago. And then the final phase is the 4th floor here. So it's a big project, and I just commend everybody that worked on it because it was amazing to see it come together.
Sure. Y'all hang out for some one-on-one interviews with me today?
Yeah, let me get two of you to stay here in front of this real quick. There, you get in there, folks.
It's all for
Come on
them.
in, Jay.